Brother. What's up? How you doing, sir?
No, I was on my way to the store.
No, I just wanted to turn you for a little bit. Just talk about fatherhood.
Oh, no.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah, you got a couple seconds?
Was I got a couple minutes? Yeah. I was on my way to the store, but I got some time.
That's cool. I just want to talk about how black fatherhood is vital. You know, and how important it is.
Wow.
And I would love to build missions so we can come together as one.
Yes.
We truly
I'm
gotta love each other.
Yes, take my number, 410.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
222.
Okay.
33333.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Appreciate that,
Thank
man.
you, sir. I appreciate your time, man. Hey, but hold on, brother. Did you know that you are a Hebrew Israelite, brother? You gotta understand that. Drop Christianity right now. I'm trying to tell you, brother.
Give my number back.
You are Israelite.
Give my number. Bruh, y'all see a black man and all you see is Hebrew Israelite. Bruh, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. You don't know what my grandmother looked like. You don't know what my great-grandfather looked like. You don't know if they were bright. You don't know if they were Cherokee Indians. You don't know none of that. You're just looking at this complexion and you're drawing a conclusion, just like you've looked at your complexion and you've drawn a conclusion. So you want me to share in your delusion because you don't know who you are. You want me not to know who I am. Bruh, once again, like I told your friend, that work on those young boys who's looking for an identity. And that also work on a lot of racist people who looking for a way to justify their hatred for another race. That don't work on me, bruh. It don't work, bruh. You wasting your time, man. You might as well move around, bruh, because I'm going to DIE a Christian, a child of God. You know, the Bible told me this. Henceforth now know no man after the flesh. If I was an Israelite, I wouldn't hang with some of you so-called Israelites. If I was, because as soon as you tell me to look at this other man and call him a devil, I'm gonna look at you and say, you the only devil I need to be worried about. You feel me?
Under the order of Melchizedek of Genesis camp states that I don't deserve to live because I stated that Paul wrote the New Testament. Check this out.
Saying Paul wrote the New Testament is just,
it's stupid. I'll say it, and examiner can get mad at me. Not Deacon. It's retarded.
It's not even. It's beyond stupid. It's like, why are you even living?
Okay.
Because why are people on the earth who would say something like that, but then say that they're intelligent or smart? It's just not true.
So for clarity, as far as why I said that, let me go ahead and show you. Besides scholars stating that Luke was the writer of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, though that Luke was not an eyewitness, as same as Paul, that leaves Acts, right, which can either be written of Paul and of Peter, as they both have writings in that book. But then it starts with Romans. And as you see, an epistle of Paul. An epistle is a letter. So clearly Paul wrote this book. 1 Corinthians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. 2 Corinthians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Galatians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Ephesians, the epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Philippians, the epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Colossians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. 1 Thessalonians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. 2 Thessalonians, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Timothy, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. 2 Timothy, an epistle of Paul. Clearly he wrote this book. Titus, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Philemon, an epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. Hebrews, the epistle of Paul. Clearly Paul wrote this book. But some scholars say that they don't even know who wrote this book, including Hebrew Israelites, one that Deacon learned from. Here left we have James, right, which is an epistle of James, and then it jumps all the way, you know what I'm saying, to Peter, right, which is an epistle of Peter, which he has 2 books, which leads us to the book of 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John, which these books actually have added verses according to the Johannine comma, right, which leads us to the book of Jude, right, he only has 1 book, and the book of Revelation, okay, which leads to include that Paul wrote the most books out of the entire New Testament, and with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John being written by Luke, and him not being an eyewitness, it is not credible. This is an example of why that we need to study for ourselves. This is an example of why we obey the Most High, and we don't sit and follow and obey men, because man will lead you to destruction. Man is living in flesh. And when you don't walk with the Most High and him alone, it will cause you to have the spirit to hate your brother and pretty much wish death upon your brother without any liable proof or justification according to the law. Leviticus chapter 5 verse 1, and if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing and is a witness, whether he have seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Which is why we are sending an open rebuke to priest Hakah under the order of Melchizedek. Because we disobeyed the Most High, dealing with idolatry and placing other men in front of the Most High, we have this curse here, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. You see that? We still live in these curses to this day. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. If the goal was to not suffer sin upon me because you felt like that I was in sin for what I said, then it's your job as a priest under the order of Melchizedek to show proof of who actually wrote the entire New Testament. This is something that I challenge you to do. So with that being said, giving all praises, all honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh alone. You understand? We're going to continue to stand firm and stand bold for the name of Yahweh, and we're not placing any other idols, you know what I'm saying, in front of the Most High. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Wakwakwadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to mighty Akim, Wakwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawa coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, I want to go into this thing with this whole trying to, force repentance, or trying to force someone to, follow after the thing. And I think that's a very big misconception that people try to, or not necessarily think, but also kind of push. Certain people do push this type of thing where you have, I guess, certain camps that will say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, whatever, or are a lot more aggressive when it comes to trying to push out their doctrine or to collect followers and stuff like that. That is a big thing. So as a result of that, that's where that's where this issue comes into play, because a lot of people, just in general, they are used to the whole thing of, oh, Christians are basically trying to force people, but for their financial needs. And they were taught in Christianity, people are taught in Christianity that, oh yeah, you have to get as many people as you can. This is a life or death. You have to get people. It's like, it's kind of basically by constraint and whatnot, whereas what's actually required, or what's actually expected of us, let's get this, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2, feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint but willingly, not for filthy lucre but of a ready mind. Basically, you're not supposed to be trying to make someone listen to you or make someone believe what you believe. You're supposed to just, okay, if they want to listen, they can listen. If they don't want to listen, they don't have to listen. And that is the issue, in terms of sometimes people think, well, I really want this person to follow after what I believe. I really want this person to believe all that stuff, but oftentimes that it doesn't work that way. And let me actually get a precept to support that. I believe it's in, and I don't even know, I'm not gonna lie, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 13. That's actually where a lot of stuff is. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 13. Consider the work of Yahweh, who can make that straight which he had made crooked. So if the Lord made someone to be able to receive this truth, then that's what said person is going to do. They're going to return unto Yahweh. But the issue is, or the problem is, that sometimes, like, it's not according to whom you want. Like, you may want your friend or whatever to follow into the truth or whatever, but it's not up to you, because the Lord is very, I guess, particular, and he's the one that's actually picking and choosing whether someone's going to believe or not. So that's also another thing where people, they also follow after certain things for different motivations. Okay, some people do actually seek spiritual guidance, or maybe they are seeking after financial stability in terms of leading people a certain way, trying to guide them into whatever doctrine they're doing, and then turning it into a business, basically, which is a big thing, which is actually a big thing, which I've actually seen, where basically what happens is a lot of these guys make YouTube videos, and monetize the stuff. Okay, they apparently they make a lot of some money. I'll say some money, not a lot of money. I don't know about the money, but basically all I know is that a lot of these guys have been making money, and it's just like, okay, well, we left the Christian church just to be monetized by some other, or just be turned to piggy banks by some other, pastor equivalent. That's something that I was just, that's something that I, kind of thought and saw. All right. Anyway, hence why this. I've never for this first video, I've never actually seen someone do this.
Brother.
Where they start off with something else and then hit you with the by the way, do you know this is the I personally have never heard that, and I don't know if I've never seen any camp actually do that. That's kind of strange to me to hear that type of stuff, because it just seems kind of what's the word, out of character for them to have done it. I mean, I would believe it was something else, but anyway, Slakia, that's not the main thing. The main thing is just that, in general, I just feel like this is such a weird thing. I would love to see where that happened or and whatnot, because again, I just feel like it's kind of a little strange, because normally what happens is if you're seeing an Israelite talk about being an Israelite and whatnot, they're just going to be upfront about it. So I don't know why or where this type of stuff comes from, especially if you see an Israelite or whatever literally standing on a corner or whatever, then you're just going to see, okay, well, this is definitely an Israelite. Like there's no hiding that. All right, it's not really hard. It's not hard to tell. So why would he think, or why would he say that? Oh, I didn't know these people were Israelites and whatnot and whatnot. So I just think that that's just weird. Anyway, next, this person, I think this is the most insincere and the most dumbest thing that you could say, because he's over here saying that because one person says that someone else is a demon, then that means that the person that the accuser is a demon instead, which that is completely stupid. So basically, if you say this person objectively did wrong, this person rape, rob, murder, did all these different stuff, so as a result of that, because I point out something that someone else did and didn't repent for, didn't try to make things right, now I'm the devil because I'm pointing out that Esau did a whole bunch of wickedness. All right, so do you see the absurdity in this dude's thing? But of course, the main thing about this is simply because his entire purpose is just to protect Esau. His entire purpose is just to justify Esau, because he loves his master. He loves doing all this stuff. It's like, why the fuck are you? So your whole thing, your whole goal is just, rather than acknowledging that something is wrong, something is bad or whatever, you instead are just more focused on trying to make Esau look like the best thing ever, or we have to just take whatever bullshit that Esau does. If Esau does something wrong, that doesn't matter. We just have to forgive him, even though Esau is actively oppressing us. We still have to just accept that and be fine with that, when it just doesn't make any sense, because Esau doesn't do anything to try to change it or to make things better. As a matter of fact, he's still going around and trying to destroy us. So again, like, look at the double standards, where all we're doing is pointing out the wickedness of someone else, but as soon as we do that, we're the ones in the wrong for pointing out that Esau is doing evil and he never did anything to fix or change it. All right. So, here. Revelation chapter 22 verse 11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. Basically, when it comes to, certain people, if someone is just if they're uncorrectable, if they're just stuck in their ways, it's just not up to you to try to change or to fix someone, because that is not the lot that the Lord put you to do. The Lord is the one that controls everyone and everything. So if the Lord made someone to be a demon, then they're just going to be a demon. If the Lord made someone to be righteous, they're going to be righteous. But again, as I said, it's not for you to pick and decide. All right. So yeah, who cares? And Slakia, that's the thing with these comments like this. That's what I personally don't like. I hate when people, which by the way, I used to do this, by the way. So I hate when people make these comments, all right, where so speaking from experience, I hate when people make these comments because it goes to show that they may know a little bit, but they don't know everything, and oftentimes it's a bit of an indicator, although that's not always the case, on how knowledgeable someone is in the scriptures, as well as practicing the discipline of what YAHAWASHI desires from us. So comments like this, it's just don't bother. If someone is stuck in their ways, you're not going to change them off of a TikTok, YouTube, or whatever comment. All right, just stay in your lane. All right, as Slakia. What's the last video? I already forgot. Oh yeah, here. So this I don't even really. I think this is just for Paul and the whole Paul thing, and I don't really have much to say. I just think it's kind of funny that he was just saying that you. But I mean, again, I don't really know much about this dude, so I mean, is it much for me to say? I don't want to go defending anyone, because I just think it's just stupid. I just think that this argument is kind of dumb, and I don't even bother engaging in this type of argument, because I did hear, or from what I know, I did hear about the whole hats thing and stuff like that, or wearing hats while preaching and stuff like that. Well, I just think that, okay, well, that's just kind of petty, childish and stuff like that. Well, and looking for an excuse to go against what the Lord said. So I mean, me personally, I don't really care about this stuff. I know what the scriptures say. The scripture says something plainly. Let me actually get this. Okay, so 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4, every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head. So if you are a man, and you're praying or prophesying with your head covered, all right, then that's where you're basically going off. But yet, I think I've always seen him. I've always seen this dude over here with a hat on. Like every time he's on the screen or talking, he always has his hat on.
And Jamar can get mad at me, not Deacon. It's retarded.
It's not even. It's beyond stupid. It's like, why are you even living?
I'm pretty sure he has a hat on, but of course you can't see it. Well, whatever. Anyway, that's basically the main thing where they're going against the scriptures for whatever reason. I don't really know. I didn't really study on them. I was more focused on studying on the scriptures. So yeah, that's something. But the main thing, again, we're not really, especially with this whole debate thing, it's not really worth it to put in all your time in like learning all these debate tactics and stuff like that. It's more important to focus on, okay, how do we focus on learning the scriptures? How do we focus on pleasing Yahawadah? But yet, people divert their attention to something else, which is like, okay, so you're arguing about the Trinity, like how does knowing the Trinity like help you? Obviously, it's good to know about your Lord and Savior, but there are certain things like you're literally arguing about the Trinity over who is salvation for and whatnot and stuff like that, where it's just like it just gets to a point where this is just for entertainment, which that's been a lot of these arguments. That is a lot of what these arguments are about. They look for something that they can argue about and then become a spectacle for people to watch and throw their money at. All right. Anyway, Luke chapter 9 verse 5, and whosoever will not receive you when ye go out of that city, shake off the very dust of your feet for a testimony against them. Basically, if someone does not want to hear, if someone doesn't believe, someone just utterly won't obey, then that's not for you to go in and make it your business. Just stay out of it or whatever. Just like, okay, well, this is just shake off your dust, your feet, or as they say, wash your hands with someone where you just mind your own business, basically. Okay, and that's how I view this. Especially especially during the transitional period where I stopped wanting to do the whole debate thing, especially as I grew in wisdom and knowledge in this truth. All right. Now, Acts 5 verse 38. Now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. Basically, it's literally saying that, okay, so yeah, if you refrain from these men or stay away from these people, clearly, if they are of YAHAWASHI, it's gonna come to pass. All this stuff is good, but if they are not of YAHAWASHI, then they're just going to, it's just going to, what's the word, subside. Like all that stuff is just going to go away and stuff like that. They're just going to be a memory. Oh yeah, you might remember those people that are over there. I think that happened to the one dude. Slucky. Let's just continue on. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 38. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Right. That's the thing where, if someone is willingly choosing to follow after wickedness, then okay, just let them follow after it. It's not your business to be going after something. If someone says, I don't want to hear, I don't want to listen, all this stuff, which is why it's stuff like this where they make these tactics. There maybe someone did make a tactic like this where they say, okay, let me pull you in from here. You believe in Jesus Christos, all this stuff like that, and then they get into that stuff where they try to pull you in, try to entice you through those types of ways. All right. So yeah, basically, if the Lord does not send someone your way, then don't bother. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Merkwakwadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of Ball, and Shalom.